Hello, hello, my lovely friends. It's Sonia here with Fresh Approach Fitness, a wellness company. It is September 13th, 2020, and today we're tackling motivation, right? Perfect. Very fitting for a Monday. And before we dive in too deep, I'd love to hear, how was your weekend? What did you do? Did you add in a bit of creativity and play? I would love to hear from you on that. Is it all work? Do you do the same thing? Do you sit on the couch? What is it that you do? And how memorable was your weekend? It's always nice to just take a snapshot and to pause before we jump into anything. I read in a book once, a family member that talked about every time they walk and leave a room, they hold onto the doorknob for 5 to 10 seconds and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And especially when they're walking in and out of the house, so they're leaving the energy from outside of the house, and they're entering into the house with that brand new, fresh energy. And they're just pausing for a second before they jump into what's next. And take that as you're listening to this podcast. Take that same theory and apply it to your life. Pause for 5 seconds. Take a couple of deep breaths. And then listen to the podcast. Think about where you're at, think about what's next, and think about where you want to go. You ready? It's all about Monday motivation today. All right. So creating and maintaining motivation. This episode is going to tackle the core of many people's weight loss challenges, their financial challenges, why they do what they do, their being stuck challenges. Because essentially we're going to talk about how to get started, how to stay the course, and how not to give up. Because listen, anyone can feel motivated for a few days, a few weeks, with just a few pounds to lose that require ongoing motivation and encouragement. Anything like that. It's easy to start strong at the beginning. But fortunately, motivation is something that we can create. And inside this episode, you're going to learn how. You ready? Let's settle in. Okay. So I've been in this industry for 12 years now as a trainer, and I have spoken and connected and helped so many people that wanted to lose weight, but they weren't able to make it happen. All of a sudden, one of my clients had lost over 100 pounds. And the most common question people ask her is, how did she find the motivation? Because everybody wants the motivation. The problem isn't what to eat or how to work out. It's how to keep yourself motivated to put in the work and the effort every single day until you reach your goal. So that's the challenge. What's the solution? Motivation doesn't just strike you if you're lucky. You can create motivation through your attitude, where you would put your force, strength, thoughts, measure out the weight of your goals and the consistency of your action. And this episode talks all about specific strategies for actively creating this motivation every single day. These strategies include reworking the mental associations that you have with weight loss. Again, I talk about meals, movement, mindset, and money. If weight loss isn't your target here, input spending in terms of weight loss, or saving in terms of weight loss. Input making healthier food choices. Input mindset work here. Insert whatever is applicable to you in your life. Today we're going to talk a lot more about weight loss, but any of those factors can be submitted instead, or just simply substituted. Okay. So as we talked about challenge, what you want to do is you want to change your focus from your obstacles to your opportunities and identifying small actions you can take consistently to build momentum and see your progress. So I'm going to repeat that last sentence because I kind of interrupted myself. And I want to make sure that you understand what you're getting out of today's podcast. You're getting strategies that are going to help you rework the mental association that you may have with weight loss, which will help you change and challenge your focus from your obstacles to your opportunities. You're focusing on the solution. When you do that, you're going to identify small actions that you can take consistently to build momentum and to see your progress. So let's talk about how we're going to implement this. So as humans, we instinctively move towards things that bring us pleasure away from things that bring us pain. Naturally, right? We often do this without even noticing it. When it comes to weight loss, many of us keep ourselves from success because we have built up negative associations with weight loss. It's hard. It takes time. It means restrictions. You name it. We've created these negative associations. When we think about weight loss, we often think about things specifically, though, like restriction, deprivation, hunger, hard work, cravings, isolation, frustration. But in this episode, we talk about practical exercise that you can do to reframe your associations and create thoughts of enthusiasm and pleasure around weight loss. Many times those show up as non-scale victories, NSV. Very important for you to write those down along your journey because that's what you're going to notice first. You must stop focusing on your limitations if you want to succeed. And I personally love this quote. When you argue for your limitations, you get to keep them. So sure, it might be hard. There might be legit reasons it will be difficult for you to lose weight. I've been there. You guys have heard me struggle. Many of you have seen me in person and noticing that I've lost weight. I went almost 3 years in physio. I'm still in physio. Not being able to run, walk, do much for physical activity, I was forced to recover because when it's both of your ankles, you are limited. Of course that affected my mindset. Of course that affected my physique. Okay? And sometimes it's not a physical injury, but it's something like a stressful job, a spouse that doesn't like to eat healthy, hormonal imbalance. What good does it for you to focus on those things? Does it serve you? Is it helping you on your journey? Or will it help you reach your goals? No. Instead, switch your focus to all of the incredible doors that will open as you move towards your goals. Focus on the additional energy you'll have. Focus on how incredible it will feel to be more confident or to have more energy to play with your kids. More energy to go out with your friends, more energy to say yes, a stronger level of confidence to be able to say no when it comes to choosing activities or foods that don't serve you. Focus how great it will be not to dread going to the doctor, but with a sense of pride of everything that you've accomplished. Everything that you've accomplished knowing that you've improved your health through your hard work and motivation. Focus on the positive. I'm going to rephrase this. Sorry. What has focusing on your limitations gotten you so far? Really? It's gotten you exactly where you are today, right? When you focus on your limitation, you are exactly being brought to where you are today because every decision you've made already to this day and time has brought you to where you are today. So what if you thought differently? Take action. You don't need to tackle the world here. You just need to identify one super small change and make it consistently every single day. Not once in a while, not when it's easy, not when you feel like it, but every single day. Just identify one positive step you're going to take towards your health yourself and then do it consistently without excuses, without complaining, with enthusiasm and with a sense of empowerment. Watch that empowerment have a trickle effect. I know this is not going to be easy. I did a coaching the other day with one of my clients, and she was in her last 20 pounds that she wants to lose. And we got rid of the 20-pound thought, and we thought about 1 pound a week. We broke it down to her successfully taking off 1 pound a week. She was able to do it. Congratulations. So now she's going to do it again, and she's going to work on losing another pound a week again. It's very small, simple steps. She's no longer focusing on the big goal. She's focusing on the small, simple steps that it takes. So you want to know a secret? It's called the truth about motivation. Because I don't know about you, but everybody thinks that motivation is hard. Or to be successful, you need a lot of motivation. Let me tell you the truth about motivation. Most people don't want to be motivated. They want to be committed. I used to be the queen of, I know I need to work out, but I'm just not motivated. This was way before 12 years ago. Or I really want to lose weight, but after work I have no motivation. I want to get out of debt, but I can't seem to start or to stay motivated. Personally, I've tried every different gym and fitness program under the sun. Hence, I've created my own Fun, Fusion 15, and a different space for people to feel safe. I've bounced from diet to diet ever since I was probably 11 years old. And I have tons of goals. I've had tons of goals, but very little follow through. For those that have been following me, you know this has changed. Even this week, a goal I didn't realize I had. I didn't realize this showed up. I became an international best-selling author for my workbook called Your Story Matters. It's available on Amazon, or you can message me directly. But I am super excited, my friends. Goals show up. What used to be goals, what used to be things I didn't think I could do, I didn't know where to start. So you ready for more? Let's talk about this. I've been using not motivated as an excuse. Believe me, it's time to retire that. If you feel like your lack of motivation is holding you back, that ends here, because that is not true. Motivation is not required. If you are never motivated again, not for a single moment in your life, you can still achieve all of your goals and have built a life that surpasses your wildest dreams. I used to live by the idea that my feelings influence my actions. And in some days, that's still true. That's how I obviously felt so impacted, if not controlled, by the choices I made. The idea of my feelings influencing my actions meant if I was stressed, I would eat. If I was overtired, I'd have a short fuse and be less patient the way I was communicating with my loved ones. If I was unmotivated or feeling down, I'd skip the gym, skip my schedule, skip what was important to me. While that was the flow of my choices for the longest time, it's not how choice works. Sure, we can certainly choose ourselves, or we can choose options of ourselves. That's convenient, but it doesn't make it so. We can convince ourselves that we can make choice works. So what I mean by that is we can convince ourselves that we have the power of choice. I'm just going to rephrase it to make sense. I probably should have my coffee this morning. But we can convince ourselves that we can have different choices, and we can do whatever it can to tell ourselves that story, that we can have the choice this way or that way. But when it comes to feelings and emotions, they're not always a matter of choice. It's a matter of consistency. When you commit to go for a walk every day, no matter the weather, whether you have motivation or not, at least you got that walk in. If you're unmotivated and depressed, go for a walk. If you let ourselves off the hook when we use our feelings to justify our inaction, we will never get anywhere. You can do that for sure. You can convince yourself that if you don't have a choice because you were stressed or unmotivated, but that doesn't make it true. You do have a choice. So what to do when you're feeling so unmotivated? Face reality. Acknowledging that you aren't motivated also acknowledges that you can do whatever you want. It's easier said than done, I know, but you can still work out unmotivated. You can still show up for yourself unmotivated. You can still eat well unmotivated. And you can still get out of bed unmotivated. You can do all of those things stressed, tired, angry, and lonely too. You don't have to wait for the feeling to pass. Here's what you need to know. It might look different, but that's okay. Bring those feelings with you. What if you don't want to eat breakfast this morning and you weren't the least bit motivated to make your typical lunch a nice power bowl? Obviously, you can still go through the motions, pull the things out, and do it anyways, or you can come up with a different substitute. Don't overwhelm yourself by thinking about future choices. Stick with what works. Just commit to doing the one thing unmotivated. Prove to yourself that you can eat well, work out, not spend, or even be kind when you don't feel like it. Do it just do it this once, then do it again. Because every choice is a chance to make a better decision. You don't have to be motivated. You have to be committed. Committed to the bigger issue. Committed to saving your money. Committed to going into a smaller dress size. Committed. That's where the power is here. All right, guys, today's episode is short and sweet. We did it in a little bit of a reverse order, but we did talk about practical implementations. We talked about some tactical solutions. And, I am here to walk you through any of these. If you're interested in that workbook, drop me a line, Sonia@freshapproachfitness.ca. I will put it in the message here. And, of course, I'm very looking forward to hearing how this episode hit you today when it comes to motivation and how you're going to apply motivation this week. I would love to hear from you. And don't forget, if you're looking to getting into my workbook, just send me a message or check out on Amazon. I'll put my link tree on here as well. Make it a fantastic day, my friends.